In the end, no gimmick. If I rap it through, I live it then. And you can't do it, so ain't no need for mimicking. I'm not innocent, I'm on a mission, so let me finish it. Matter of time before they summon the army in. I'm probably on the FBI's most wanted list. I'm probably gonna end up hung like an ornament. I'm on a life mission to abolish all the government.
Welcome to the Muddied Waters of Freedom with your hosts, Matt Wright and Mohammed Shaker.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Vanguard. For Mohammed, my friendly neighborhood Muslim man Shaker, I am Matt Wright, and together we are traversing the muddied waters of freedom. Somebody on Saraha asked me to call you that. I don't know who it was, but I figured I would appease them.
It's definitely somebody that listens, since they know you always give me a nickname.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you to whoever that is. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. Excellent. First and foremost, we must thank Low Tide Kava Bar for the kava we are going to be drinking on today's show. Thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
How's it? Bullet.
Bula.
Tasty and good as always.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So good.
So after 2 weeks, I broke down and made an account, and I saw that you did too.
Yeah, I made a Sriracha as well. Did you see what my Sriracha...
Yeah. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. What Adam Freeman from episode number 2, the Freeman, he said, I think it would be really funny to share other people's Sriracha's as your own. And just be like, yeah, this is mine. And then have these people just getting blown up with stuff from...
Oh, yeah. I was thinking about that.
Yeah, so I would share yours, and it's like you would get all of the stuff that people said bad about me.
There's one I haven't...
Rookie? Jesus.
There's one I haven't shared because it's rated M to an extent. But it's one of the more interesting ones that I got. Somebody put some time into writing me this message. It's the app. Everybody maybe knows by now. Where
I was gonna say most people should know what Sriracha is, but it's where you can give anonymous.
Yeah. I've never used such a thing before, but I heard it compared to FormSpring.
Yeah, FormSpring
and Ask.something FM.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. But this one I got, man. It came in 2 messages. Like somebody took time to write this.
Yeah.
I can picture our first date now. You take me out to the finest Mexican restaurant, and all people think this is you. So
I already know what it says.
Oh, it is you?
It's not me.
Oh, but you know who sent it?
I don't know who sent it, but somebody said, did you write Muhammad one about?
Oh yeah, because I was like, did y'all see this? And probably 3 people said it was probably you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't me. I sent the one after that said I didn't send the one about the burrito.
Oh, I saw that. Okay.
Yeah.
I was confused. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, I get it now.
I sent that one.
Yeah, it's like I can picture our first date now. You can take me out to the finest Mexican restaurant that could be attached to a gas station. Our food comes out late, but we don't care. We've already got into a heated debate about what Bernie Sanders would look like with hair. I say Jesus, you say George Harrison, which to me would be like an idea of who may have written this, but I had to look up who the hell that was.
Right.
Because I don't know them that well. And
you didn't know George Harrison was from the Beatles?
No, I didn't. I don't know anything. I don't like the Beatles.
George Harrison was the best Beatle.
Okay, yeah.
In my opinion. My very correct opinion.
Probably. But, yeah, I had to look it up, and I was like, I would never say anything like this, so now I don't know if this person knows me or not. Angered, you chuck your burrito up my head. I bend. As I duck, you get a good look at the promised land. As I pick the burrito up and proceed to eat it, you're taken aback at how naughty I can get. That's when you realize you want me. Continued. We make eye contact. You nod. We walk away from our salsa and chips, and you take me into the gender-neutral bathroom. I think a libertarian wrote this just because they had to say that. That's when... This is when it gets a little graphic. That's when I ride your face until I get rug burn. The bottom half of your face has pruned, and we get a solid idea of what it will look like in 40 years. As you're washing the stank off, I leave the restaurant before you can chase me down for the other half of the bill. Yeah. This person obviously doesn't know me because I pay for the bill on our dates.
My money's on Judah.
Does he like the Beatles?
I don't know. Yeah, no, I wrote the one that said I didn't write the one about the burrito. I don't even remember what I wrote, but I was letting you know that I did not write the thing about the burrito.
Yeah, I did.
I actually did write another one that you posted.
Oh? I only posted the funny ones, obviously.
And I didn't realize it until you posted it, but there was a typo in it, and I was really pissed off at myself about it.
No, I think I know which one then.
It's the one where I said you flip parties more often than Charlie Crist. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I wrote that one.
Yeah, I got a lot of funny ones.
But
I'm treating all of it as trolling, even the ones that sound sincere.
Yeah, I got one that was just awful. It said Dreamcatcher is a great movie.
Yeah.
And I know exactly who that's
we know.
I know exactly
We know
who that one was from. Since he comments that on every one of our podcasts. And I was just like, yeah, Dreamcatcher is a great movie. And then I got another one, I got a bunch of the ones that are like, one of the nicest, sexiest, talented guys I know, lucky to call you a friend. And I'm 90% certain that's from Clyde Keep.
Okay.
I can't prove that, but I think it's from Clyde Keep, whose birthday is tomorrow, so happy birthday, Clyde.
Happy birthday, Clyde.
Hopefully you are having a fantastic Saturday before your birthday. But yeah, I mean, it's been a fun app. Like,
Yeah,
I've
been
enjoyed
pretty
it.
fun. I'm glad I made it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm good. I started a show called The 100. I wish somebody had told me about it sooner. Pretty good show. It's post-apocalyptic, and I think the people that wrote that show are big fans of Mass Effect just because there's a lot of parallels in the show and the storyline of the video game, which I thought was really interesting.
You really like it when I tune out in the first 30 seconds, don't you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, that's all I was going to say is, pretty interesting. I did discover that the CW is known for hiring models for actors. I didn't know that was a thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been watching a lot of Preacher.
I had no idea.
Preacher, it's about a...
I've watched Monk. It's the same thing, right?
No, completely different. Preacher's about a guy in Texas who, oddly enough, is a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
And his best friend is an alcoholic, drug-addicted vampire. And he gets inhabited. I don't want to say possessed. He gets inhabited by a spirit that is half angel, half demon. And it's called Genesis, and he has all the power in the world. It's a very cool show.
Yeah.
It's a very cool show. They're in the middle of season 2 right now, and I've been kind of watching that when I'm not getting home too late and too muddy to remember it, because I really am enjoying it. It's based on a graphic novel, and Seth Rogen is the one who's making the show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
Oh.
It's good. I enjoy it. I enjoy the crap out of it. And, yeah, like our friend Brian Wolf says, it is the best comic ever.
Yeah?
Yeah, because Brian Wolf is just a fantastic human being.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So.
Oh,
yeah.
you cheater. You knew it was Clyde's birthday because of a pop-up.
Wow, really? Why are you selling me out like that?
Because I have to.
Man, I should have cleared that. Yes, I got a pop-up reminding me that it's Clyde's birthday tomorrow. I can't believe you sold me out like that.
No, I had to. That's funny.
Anyway, so yeah.
Speaking of pop-ups, Twitter pop-ups, Korea.
Which I'm going to preface this by saying this morning I texted him and I said, can we not talk about Korea? I don't want to talk about Korea.
We have to, man. It brings us listeners. I'm making that up.
Yes,
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell brings us listeners. I have no idea who the hell likes what on this show, because nobody says anything. It'd be nice if you all say something, because I know you're all listening. You've been here forever now. But we'll assume that Korea brings us listeners. Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't want to talk about Korea because everyone's talking about Korea.
Everybody's talking about Korea, and it is the equivalent of a global pissing match between two rich boys who are used to getting what they want.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't want to talk about Korea because I think
Okay.
it's idiotic, and I personally don't think anything's going to happen. I think it's just going to be a lot of talk, and it's going to be a lot of questioning, and there's going to be a lot of people saying, oh, we're going to use a nuke. No, they're going to use a nuke. Like, they're going to nuke Guam, and then we're going to nuke whatever. Like, but I don't think anything is actually going to happen from any of this. I think that it's just brinksmanship at its absolute finest, and it's just going to go away. Because China's saying, U.S., don't do anything first, which means, we have to wait for Korea to do it, but I'm willing to bet that China's going, if you do this, you are so screwed.
Well, they did.
Right. So I don't think anything's going to happen.
They said they would not support North Korea if they did anything like that, which is good. But there's a few things to say about the whole Korea thing, besides the back and forth. One of them being that I was thinking about this because now I'm starting to see that, especially after the Nazi thing that's been happening and the Mises Institute, and as we talked about cultural conservatism and some of the things that libertarians do, trying to completely go the opposite way for the sake of going the opposite way of what statists do. It's okay to be anti-war. It's good to be very anti-war and still be okay with us telling North Korea not to do something like that.
Right.
I mean, this thing's been going on for a while now. It's really hard to pin down where this whole nuclear bomb thing started to begin with. Well, I mean, I guess you can. But, I mean, this is where we're at today. So we have to look at the world as it is, not as it should be. And looking at the world as it is, the guy has nukes. The guy threatens to use them. Regardless of the fact that the United States has used the bombs in the past, during World War II, when it was trying to end the Pacific Theater. That aside, which I think should not, in my opinion, it's not a good argument that, well, you used them, you shouldn't. No. It's fine to tell people not to use nuclear bombs. And it's okay to tell Kim Jong-un not to use the bombs. And extending onto that, I think a lot of libertarians and liberals have a problem, especially libertarians, for the reason that we are very anti-authoritarian government. Hold on, I've lost my thought here of what I was about to say. I was going to say that it is... What was I going to say? It's not okay, it's okay. Crap, man. I had a really good point to make here. Oh! They focus too much on the United States government as the only evil in the world, which is just not the truth. Like, again, we can look at all the mistakes that our government has done, all of them. That's fine, and we can talk about them and all that. But people act like we're the only evil in the world, and that's just not true.
No, absolutely not.
Every single part of the world has some really evil governments out there, and these people act like as soon as you get rid of the CIA and the United States government tomorrow, then it's going to be like fine everywhere. And I don't think that's true. Like, as sad as it is, if we lose power, politically anyways, our power projection, then other people like the Russians, the Chinese, and the EU and the United Nations would gain more power in our place from this power vacuum, and they'd be able to push their ideas and their values and all this other stuff. So it's important to remember that the United States government is not the only entity in the world that we need to worry about, and we can't forget about the communists in China, what's going on in Venezuela, Cuba, Russia, all that stuff. Acting like we're the only evil in the world, I think, would be a big mistake, and we'd be literally just ignoring what could happen to us.
I don't know how many people are saying that we're the only evil in the world. Like, I think everybody globally thinks North Korea is also evil, just like many people believe that a lot of the regimes in the Middle East are evil.
Yes.
And there's evil, like Venezuela. Like, there's a lot of evil in Venezuela.
Yeah.
I think there's evil everywhere. So I don't think anybody's saying that we're the only evil. But I mean, the thing with North Korea,
some people definitely only focus on the United States.
A lot of people do focus on the United States, especially a lot of people here in the United States. They say, "Oh no, that's just because we're the United States, so we're evil. We just want to bomb. We're a bunch of Oh my God, I just forgot that guy's name. Your buddy called him out. Why do you want to bomb everybody? John
Bolton.
John Bolton. Yeah, they think that we're just a bunch of John Boltons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They think that we're just a bunch of John Boltons here in the United States. And I mean, that's not true. There are a bunch of John Boltons here, but I mean, not all of us are like that. And while we do have people like that here, for the majority, most of us don't want war.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of America does not want to go to a war. And even though on Jimmy Kimmel, they were interviewing people, and I think we should use military intervention over in North Korea, but then couldn't find it on a map.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was hilarious.
That was so funny. The one girl that was like all over the place, and she didn't even come close.
I don't even know how people were putting them in the water.
Right? Yeah. Whatever. Yeah, but I mean, while people here, for the most part, don't want war, like, there is a perception that is what America's all about, that we're a bunch of cowboys, and all we wanted, we're a bunch of Texas cowboys who just want to, start wars and start fights and bar brawls and all that kind of stuff, much like Adam Freeman used to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just not true, and there's equal amounts of evil everywhere else in the world.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of these
I think
same
we
people...
just get the U.S. part louder here because it's what we hear.
Well, and then the same people end up pushing the conversation into, okay, that's a lot of likes from the same person probably. These same people will then make it into a big conspiracy that because we have had a hand in a lot of these things, then if the CIA doesn't and the FBI don't exist, then a lot of these things wouldn't be around. And to me, that just makes no sense. Especially libertarians, like, we say government's evil, and then we say it's inefficient and all this other stuff, and then it's only the United States government is the evil one, and only the United States government is able to do all this backdoor, cloak and dagger stuff.
No, that's everywhere. That is everywhere,
Yeah.
and that's been every political organization ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is why I recently left the Libertarian Party and went NPA.
Yeah.
Because every political organization, whether it's government, political parties, any of it, they all handled stuff shadily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm tired of all of that. Like, I just want to go out and do good.
Yeah.
And I feel as though, you and I, we do this, we do good. Like, we get people to start looking at things differently.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know if we actually do, but I hope we do.
Yeah.
But, it doesn't matter which country it's from. There's not a good government.
Yeah.
There may be good people in government. We have good people in government here. And I'm certain they have good people in government in Canada. And I'm certain, not the prime minister. That guy's awful. But and in France and in England. Like, there's good people in government, but inherently government is evil.
Yeah.
Because absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like,
exactly.
it's just gonna happen.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
Yes, the United States is not the only evil one in the North Korea versus United States bout. The most touted bout besides Conor McGregor versus Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
So, God, if Donald Trump plans that attack for the same day as the Floyd Mayweather Conor McGregor fight, man, that's going to be the highest watched TV day in a really long time. That would be a really good day to do it, because it's just like you could just build it up along with it.
Exactly. But yeah, man, and the whole we've bombed Japan in the past, and so what? Like, if he says he might use them, I think we need to take the guy seriously. That he might use them, even if he doesn't have the means. Maybe he does. I don't know. If somebody says they would use them, I think we need to take it seriously. Whether we're the ones that are pushing him that far or not. I mean, if all we're doing is talking to him enough and then pissing him off that much, fine. But, I'm not saying we're right on doing this. I'm not saying we're correct to put our bases all around them and to put our Navy all around them. That is scary. I've said that before.
Right.
And they would try to react somehow, but I think if they react militarily first, no, they're obviously the wrong ones there.
Right. No, absolutely.
If we wanted to do something militarily, we would have done that already. There wouldn't have. Why are we sitting here and talking if that's the case? No,
Right.
we would have done something. So I think it's all on him to actually do anything like that, not on us. And if he's being serious, we need to take that threat seriously.
Right. It's
So,
like, the non-aggression principle. You got don't aggress on other people. Throw communists from helicopters.
yeah,
Communists aren't people. So
yeah.
so anyway. So yeah, but that was why I didn't want to talk about North Korea, because I don't think anything's going to come of it, and I think that it's all just a bunch of hype.
Yeah.
It's the Al Capone's vault of wars. It's just going to fizzle out, and there's not going to be anything to really worry about, which is why I was like, let's not talk about it. But then we did for 12 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, fine. We can move along. I mean, speaking of the military, we can move on to VA.
Really? That's not that VA.
Oh, is that Virginia?
That's Virginia.
Oh, it said VA.
Yeah, that's the state of emergency that I used to call my home state, Virginia, not the VA. So
What? No, it's Virginia, right?
it is Virginia.
Is it Martin Luther King's birthday?
Lee Jackson King Day?
Yes. So
Lee
what is
Jackson-
it? So what is that again?
Okay, so Lee Jackson King Day, they don't actually have that holiday anymore.
No, they don't. They got rid of it
They
a few
did
years ago, right?
Back in 2001,
Okay.
I think.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up in Virginia, I did not know that there was Martin Luther King Day.
Mhm.
There was Lee Jackson King Day for Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and Martin Luther King, and we just celebrated on the same day.
Why is that? Do they have similar birthdays?
No, I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, that might be it.
Yeah,
Or it's really weird to put them on the same day.
Right. Well, now they have Lee Jackson Day,
Okay.
which is the Friday before Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, it didn't even occur to me that that may not be the greatest grouping of people to put together. But yeah, so when I moved out of the state,
Hey, the Confederates had really good generals.
they did.
That is just
That's
that
a
is
fact.
just facts.
That's a fact. But yeah, they had So when I moved out of the state, and somebody was like, "Oh, it's Martin Luther King Day," and I didn't know what that was, and I said, "Oh, Lee Jackson King Day." They looked at me like I had said the most offensive thing in the world, and that wasn't even close to the most offensive thing I've ever said. That's probably not even the most offensive thing that I've said on this show.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like Lee Jackson King Day was our thing. And so, I mean, in Virginia, like Stonewall Jackson he's an icon in Virginia. Same with Robert E. Lee, also an icon. Stonewall Jackson High School. I grew up in the same city as Stonewall Jackson High School, which was named the best high school in America like 3 times.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. Why?
I don't know.
The test scores or something?
I don't know. They were my rival school. I hated them, even though I had really good friends that went there. But yeah, I don't know why they got named best high school.
Yeah.
People said that it was because of the IB program.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people said it because I think they were one of the first schools to do the IB program. I always said it was because they were the first school in the nation to put a daycare in for students.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I said.
Yeah.
I was also, 16.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson are both icons in Virginia. I mean, they're icons of the South. And what started everything in Virginia going on today is they wanted to take down a Robert E. Lee statue. And
see, I didn't know that until you had said it.
yeah, and members of the alt-right were like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, I assumed because a lot of people were calling it the Unite the Right rally. So I assumed it was just some random rally to unite the right. But I guess that's the whole thing. They're trying to remove a statue, right?
Yeah, I think they were just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Not move it, but get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that was where the issue really came from.
Mm-hmm.
So they were doing the rallies, and that was when the Unite the Right thing started going up, and they started chanting blood and soil, which...
See, that's different. Like, that's the first thing I thought about when I did read about that. It's different when somebody at the Mises Institute, in a larger quote, says blood and soil and God.
Right.
And it, from the alt-right and National Socialists walking around saying blood and soil. Boom.
Right. I'm not saying that you're wrong there.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I mean, really bad timing for the Mises Institute.
No, I mean, that came afterwards. The rally thing
the rally thing did come afterwards, but I mean, it was just bad timing for him to say it, and then a week later.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, you can't. I'm just saying you can't time that.
I know.
It would be worse if somebody,
I know you can't
like
time
tomorrow would say that quote again.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm pretty certain that that's not getting said for quite some time now. But then they were walking, and the media is insane on this because it was reported today that I was listening to. It was reported today that a group of white nationalists were marching through UVA's campus holding torches. Now, when you say a group of white nationalists are marching holding torches, I have a specific image in my head.
Yeah.
And then you showed me the picture.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, they are very neatly pressed and very clean and like very well dressed.
Yeah.
Like, not what I had pictured in my head.
Yeah.
And the torches they were carrying weren't sticks with rags wrapped around it with fire. No, they were freaking tiki torches. They were just basically fending off mosquitoes.
They're doing a public service, guys. It's a public service. Getting rid of the insects.
Right. And I was like watching the way that they were reporting it, I was picturing like these guys like going around with torches like setting crap on fire. And no, they were walking around with mosquito repellent and like these little tiki wooden torches and just like chanting blood and soil. And I mean that's a weak protest in itself, but anyway,
a few days ago when I was hanging out at Bula, I think it was a few days ago, they were they had tiki torches all around. I hope those end up going down after what's been going on, or else someone maybe is not listening to the news.
Right. And then you've got the governor, Terry McAuliffe, going out there and declaring a state of emergency in the entire state of Virginia because of what's going on at UVA. And I'm like, that's...
When I read that, I thought it was overkill.
Right. That's what I think that it's complete abuse of that.
Because they were just marching.
They were just marching. Now, it has started, there have been counter-protesters.
I'm sure Antifa showed up to beat up some trash cans.
And I mean, just like moments before we started the show, there was a report that came out that one of the counter-protesters had thrown a rock at a Dodge Charger, and it hit the Dodge Charger, and the Dodge Charger spun around, and it rammed into 20 people.
One of our good friends is waving at us.
Oh, wow, he really did show up. But so you've got the counter-protesters being hit. You've got the counter-protesters being hit by the Dodge Charger that they threw a rock at, and
so the Charger was charging into the Unite the Right people.
No, other way around. The Dodge,
really?
Yeah, the Dodge Charger was driving a counter-protester to the Unite the Right, threw a rock and hit the Dodge Charger. The Dodge Charger hit the counter-protesters.
Okay.
According to the article I just read.
Okay. Now, I thought that because it just came up, the only thing I did see was somebody told me that it was going at them, but I guess not. You can keep talking while I type this message.
So I mean, like all of this just really basically comes down to, I mean, you said it had a lot to do with free speech. And personally, I don't think that this ultimately goes back to free speech. I think it goes down to whether or not America needs to erase its history.
Well, it is free speech. I mean, they're stopping the rally.
They are stopping the rally,
and that's all that matters.
What do you mean? Wait, okay, so
the core issue here is this state emergency is because of the rally itself.
Right.
But
the rally wouldn't have started if they weren't trying to erase part of America's history by taking down a Robert E. Lee statue.
Oh, yeah. Which I do agree. I wouldn't want them to get rid of that because, like I said earlier, Confederate generals are awesome. Doesn't matter what, if you're into military history and history in general, Confederate generals are awesome.
Absolutely. Like, they were really good.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't realize this. The North had twice the landmass. I don't know about the economic output, but they did have twice the landmass. So we're going to assume, and most of the industry. So we're going to assume that they also had definitely more economic output than the Confederates. I mean, they did have a much bigger navy, which is what ended up going in the favor of the Union. And also a much bigger population because of that. But the Civil War dragged on for 4+ years, I believe. And what people don't realize is, in those 4+ years, it took that long for the South to lose, being in that much of a disadvantage. And all of that really hinged on the back of all those objectively great Confederate generals that were able to maneuver on the battlefield the way they did and win the battles that they did the way they did. And it was, you could almost say that it was just the Confederates got out attrition at that point, running out of money, out of people, out of everything. So they were great generals. And besides the general stuff, a lot of people, whatchamacallit? So a lot of people will associate these statues, like they do Confederate flags and stuff, with slavery.
Right.
You know?
And that's incorrect. I mean...
Well, correct or not, I'll let you say your point first.
I was going to say, it's incorrect. Like, so many people will associate the Confederate flag with racism or slavery and stuff, and I have never seen it that way. You and I both grew up in the South.
Yeah.
Like, I grew up in Virginia. Like, I saw Confederate flags everywhere. I know people that have it tattooed on them. You have one hanging in your room. I don't own one, which apparently makes me less of a Southerner than you, as you said. I'm a better libertarian than you person. But I mean, like, part of Manassas, like where I grew up in Manassas, Virginia, like, we are known for our Civil War battles.
Yes.
Which we had 2 of. And recently we had the sesquicentennial, which is the 150th anniversay of the battle. It's a very difficult word to say. But recently they had that, and it was a huge event, like tons of people there. But, you know, they were still selling Confederate flags and stuff there, and nobody had a problem with it because it was the history of it.
And reenactments, I'm sure, were going on.
Right, yeah, no, absolutely. Really cool ones.
Yeah.
I unfortunately wasn't there for it, but I'd seen reenactments there before, and they're really cool to watch.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
We used to go out to the battlefield and you could still find bullets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was really cool. I used to have a bunch of them. I don't know where any of them are anymore. But, like, it's all a part of history. It's all part of what made us America today. And we can't erase part of it. Like, you don't want to dwell on it. You don't want to constantly think about it.
Yeah.
But you can't forget it.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying whether it's correct or not, like, if it was correct going down that line, it's you're then just you're trying to remove America's history out of that, and you don't want to repeat history. And if you've got no way to remember that history, sometime in the future, like, we'll never remember that this stuff ever happened, and maybe we'll go down that line again. Right. You know, I'm just exaggerating here.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I've always heard that Germany does not talk about World War II. Like, they just act like those years.
They don't, and you cannot. Anti-Semitism is outlawed, and
how can you outlaw that?
Well, like, you can't say anything that is anti-Semitic, so
gotcha.
I guess you can, you know.
I mean, Canada did the same thing
with Muslims.
Yeah,
yeah.
Can't say anything Islamophobic up there.
Yeah, but yeah, no, they do try to keep all that stuff quiet and muted, which I think is stupid.
Right. You can't stop people by quieting people's hate. You're just going to make them hate more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just, like we've said all the time, like when we talk about whether or not a business owner can discriminate based on race or religion or gender or anything like that, you know, people are like, oh, no, they shouldn't be able to do that. Well, yeah, I think they should. I want to know who is the person out there who hates these people, because if you don't want Muhammad, this Muhammad, to come into a restaurant with me, then I don't want to give your restaurant any money. I don't care if you have the best wings or the best burger in the world, or the best bacon. Like I won't give you the money if I can't take you. Well, not take you, but go with you. I'm not paying.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go to that restaurant. Like, I'm going to go to Ruby Tuesdays, where of course they're going to let you go in.
Yeah.
You know? Actually, I won't go to Ruby Tuesdays either, but that's just because they fired me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, by doing that, you're just harboring it and making it grow and making it stronger. Mm-hmm. Instead of just letting people see, oh, no, that guy's just a dumbass. So why are we listening to this? Yeah.
And in some cases, like I was having this conversation with somebody, and they made the point that, well, we've shown that even when that happens, some people won't even care. And it might have been a gay friend of mine, because we were talking about Chick-fil-A, and this friend was telling me that a lot of their gay friends still go there. And my response to that, not that Chick-fil-A tries to ban homosexuals,
right?
But the owners are very Christian. Supposedly the owners, I never actually looked into this, but you always hear this, that the owners donate money to a lot of strong anti-sexual groups or something. But even then, like, if those gay people like the food and the stuff that Chick-fil-A puts out, so fucking what?
Right. No, I mean, so what?
Exactly, and that's how I look at it, because, you know, if the Chick-fil-A sandwich is making their life better, which it would be, you know, like, it's a nice sandwich, it tastes good, you're gonna go and have it, enjoy it.
Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah. If they're gonna enjoy it, so the fuck
jack.
What? Like, even if they don't like him, that's the whole point of capitalism. Is if something is good for you, you will go and get that thing. And now, if they do ban gay people, and if we allow them to ban gay people and they do that, I doubt Chick-fil-A would if they were allowed to.
No, it wouldn't make any sense economically.
But if they did, you know, where I was going to go with that example, so we can get back to Virginia, there was a guy here locally in Florida that's very anti-Islamic. He really hates all Muslims, and we are not welcome at his stores because we are.
Is that the gun guy?
Yeah. And like, nobody's came out and done this, but here's the thing. You got two things. One, okay, fine. So we can't go to his place. We'll just go to other businesses, which means those less hateful businesses will in fact get more Muslim, I guess, dollars than this asshole. And the other thing is, if somebody wants to, capitalism, money speaks. Somebody could say, hey, my gun shop welcomes Muslims. Like, just saying that, I bet you many Muslims that have never even thought about buying a gun are going to line up to start buying guns. He can even say 5% discount, although that's going a little far. Or maybe I'm sure there's a Muslim gun store owner in Florida. There's a lot of us here.
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I 100% guarantee that.
Yeah. So, you know, there are plenty of ways to punish these racists and bigots and stuff like that. Absolutely.
And you can do it with your dollars as opposed to doing it with the law.
Yeah. But back to Virginia. Somebody ran into somebody with a car.
Ran into 20 people.
Yeah.
Ran into 20 people. You know, Trump tweeted, Melania tweeted, everybody tweeted. And, you know, I mean, it's sad that we've gotten to the point where we fight free speech. Okay, one, that we're trying to erase history, because that's the way I see it, is that this started because we're trying to erase parts of history. And then, so we We try to erase parts of history. People come out to talk out against it, and then people are coming out to talk out against that. Totally fine with all of that. But then it starts turning violent with the counter-protests fighting the protesters, and with rocks being thrown, and now with cars being driven into people.
Yeah.
And, like, this is not good for free speech.
No.
Like, this is not good for free speech, and this will only perpetuate people saying, oh, people shouldn't be allowed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that will go into the First Amendment rights of the right to assemble.
Yeah.
And, the right to protest is a right to assemble. Like, I should be able to set up a protest and go out and throw a protest. But if they're like, oh, no, we don't want a counter-protest to come out, and then for some riot to happen and eventually ending up with people dying because they got hit by cars.
Yeah.
Like, if we could keep the protest civil, which I understand protests kind of can't be,
Yeah.
but that's all part of it.
Although, to be fair, as hateful and Nazis are very bad people. Very bad.
Nazis are very
cannot
bad
understate
people.
that. But to be fair, most of those marches are pretty peaceful. I mean, they go on all the time.
Right.
They're small numbers. They don't happen everywhere, but they happen all the time. You don't hear about them either. Nobody hears about them because it's really honest. It's just not that interesting. It's a bunch of white guys walking around with swastikas.
Yeah.
It happens everywhere. You don't hear about it. Excuse me. But we are hearing of this. And
I think the only reason we're really hearing about this is because of the state of emergency that was declared by Terry McAuliffe.
Yeah. Or also because Richard Spencer is there.
Well, yeah, that also.
Yeah.
I think that a couple of people from Florida are there.
Yeah, I heard about him.
Yeah, I think he's there.
Yeah. Which, in my opinion, is shitty considering, because I always like giving benefit of the doubt. Like, and I understand what some people are saying about uniting the right in general. Not in this fashion. I'm not talking about the protest. But a lot of people are talking how the right in general needs to come together, like libertarians, conservatives, even alt-right. Never seen somebody go as far as say Nazis.
Right.
But it makes sense, and they say that in response to because the left is very organized. Good on you guys. That's actually one of the big things that the left has going for them is they are very organized. You look at the women's march that happened. It's one of the biggest, most successful rallies they've had in this country so far. And the left is generally just really good at doing their marches and doing their rallies. And
they're really good at that, but they cannot meme.
No, they cannot.
The left cannot meme.
Yeah.
I mean, they are organized and they can set up a rally like that, but they cannot meme to save their life.
Yeah. So I get it. It's important to unite the right, but not with these assholes. Not with these guys. I don't think we need to give them any leeway because these guys will tread on somebody like me as soon as they get the chance. And
absolutely,
sure, we're both, depending on who, we're both capitalists, but that's almost the extent of it. And we may have family values, and that's the extent of it.
Right.
They'll try to tread on me as soon as they can. A lot of these guys don't like Muslims, and they think that I should not be here, patriot or not.
Right.
So, anyways,
I actually just remembered this in the middle, which is why I wrote it down. I did want to talk about this really quick. Donald Trump declared a state of emergency, a national state of emergency because of the opiate problem, the opiate epidemic that we are having here because of so many people that are dying from heroin and prescription drugs and all of that. And his answer to how to fix this is to tell our kids not to use drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So he is recycling Nancy Reagan's Just Say No campaign.
Yeah.
And that's not the answer. That is absolutely not the answer.
What? Can I ask why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because
I don't see anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But you can't just say don't do drugs. Because
okay, then I agree.
Right, because all of us were told
don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Yeah.
And I've done all of them.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like the don't do drugs, just say no campaigns don't work.
I mean, I guess what you're saying is it's not enough. Right?
Right. It's not enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not enough. Like,
because I thought it was pretty cool. Like when I really saw that might be the extent of it, I was like, he's bringing the conversation back about it. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, he is bringing the conversation back about it, but as long as we continue punishing people for low drug crime.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as we continue treating these people like criminals instead of treating it like a disease, because that's what it is. Addiction is a disease that many of us struggle with. Like, I know that one of the people watching right now, as well as myself, struggle with that disease. We talk about it often.
Yeah.
And it's not something that it's not something that, it's just like, oh, well, they have a disease, let's throw them in jail. We have to actually treat the disease. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that is a federal government job.
Well, yeah, of course.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a federal government job, but I also don't think that we need to be throwing these people in jail so that when they get out, they end up binging. And that's, it's all bad.
Yeah.
It's all bad the way that we have approached this entire drug war, and calling it a national state of emergency over the opiate epidemic and telling us, oh, we just need to tell our kids not to use drugs. I don't know any parent that's saying, you know what, you need to go out and try heroin when you get older. Yeah. Actually, let's just do it now.
Yeah.
I got a needle. I can cook up. Don't worry. I got you, son. You're 5. You're old enough to do this. Like, no, that's not happening. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, people are saying don't do drugs. That's happening already.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that saying that is a weak. It's a weak way of saying I don't have an answer.
Mm-hmm. I happen to agree with that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up. Also, if you want to get people off of heroin, don't ban kratom.
Yeah.
Just don't ban kratom.
I did want to just blurt out. Just sell them kratom.
Right. Don't ban kratom.
Yeah.
Give them access to kratom. Allow kava and kratom bars to remain open so that they have access to it easily.
Yeah. It's a good natural tea that gets your mind off of opiates.
Right.
Somehow.
That's a great way to put that. I like how you put that. That's what I'm going to use.
Right?
It gets your mind off of opiates.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just wanted to throw that in. The state of emergency reminded me of it.
All right.
But a report came out this week about Generation Z and their voting habits.
Okay.
And Generation Z are the people...
If it didn't come from University of California, I don't trust the report.
No, it came from a professor from Keystone University, or Keystone College, where I assume they drink Keystone all the time. But Jeff Bauer is his name, is the poli-sci guy that came up with this. And
Jack Bauer?
Not Jack. But he stated, and I was trying to find it before. I read the article a couple of days ago, and I was trying to find it right before the show, and I couldn't. And it's either 50... This actually surprised the ever-living crap out of me. 56 or 54, I don't remember which one it is, percent of people born that were of voting age, I think it was like the 18 to 22 range, would be the Generation Z or the I generation. Voted for Trump, while 46 or 44 voted for Hillary.
Yeah.
And they're saying, oh, they're the most conservative generation to come out in freaking forever.
Yeah.
Which, okay. But I actually came up with 4 theories on why, and I was sitting at a coffee shop when I was reading this article, and I was talking to some random girl across from me, and I was like, and I read that stat, and she goes, that's so sad. And I was like, but why is that? Why that is? And then I just started bouncing ideas off this girl who was trying to do work, but I wasn't going to let that happen because I was really interested in that stat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my first theory was, okay, they've only known Obama, and they didn't get what Obama promised.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they wanted somebody different. So that's why they went with Republican or not Hillary Clinton because she's so tied to Obama anyway.
Yeah.
Or they decided that because Trump is not a politician, They wanted somebody who wasn't a politician.
Yeah.
Or non-establishment anyway, whatever.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, maybe that could have been a reason. And then she mentioned something about how she was surprised they weren't Bernie people.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe they were Bernie people, but because Hillary screwed Bernie over in the primary.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
They just had they actually had the conviction to say, no, I'm not going to vote for Hillary. I'm going to vote against Hillary. And if that's cool, that means that they have very strong convictions, and I like that. Like, they aren't just going to be party line people. They're going to be conviction people, and that is really important in my eyes.
Yeah. I don't know why my sister did, my youngest sister. She's Generation Z. I don't know why, but she also voted for Trump. I never asked her why, but I know she did.
And then my third theory was that this younger generation, I hope this one's true, just has they have a very strong hope for, or desire rather, for freedom and liberty. And they just saw Trump as the candidate that was going to be more for freedom and liberty over Hillary. I mean, I don't know how accurate that assessment was, but
I mean, it might be.
It might be. I don't know what Hillary would have done as president, but I still think that, that's also a possibility. I think one of those three is I thought one of those three was the possibilities, but then I was hanging out with the voice of the Muddied Waters yesterday, Greg Bowen, and he said, I think you're thinking too much into this. And I said, oh, why? He goes, they're a generation of internet trolls who voted the world's greatest internet troll in as leader. So,
well,
and I was like, you know what? I can't even argue that. That's actually a really good assessment.
The only thing I have to say about that is what percentage of Trump voters was Generation Z?
Right.
So I don't know what that is.
What percentage of voters?
Yeah, that would be my response. Is out of all the Trump voters, what were they enough to push it enough his way, or because Trump got less white voters and more African American voters and minority voters than Romney did. So
obviously,
maybe minorities helped him get elected.
No, I don't think it's.
I'm just
right. No, I'm not saying that they were the ones that pushed him over the edge, but they were just voting for their.
Oh, a guy that acts like them, I guess.
Right. They were just voting for their internet troll commander in chief.
Yeah.
Right. All hail President Keck.
Yep.
Praise be to Keck. So those are the four theories I have on why the Generation Z voted for Trump.
Yeah.
By somewhere between 9 and 12%.
Yeah, I don't have any theories. It might be the number 1 and number 2 on your list.
I think I would like it to be number 3.
Yeah,
I want it to be I want it to be that they want freedom and liberty, and they saw Trump as the freedom and liberty candidate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I want that to be it.
Yeah,
but them being a group of Justin Moldows. Just a bunch of little internet trolls.
Yeah.
Justin, I love you. Don't take offense to that.
Yeah.
But them being just a bunch of internet trolls who decided to vote for the grandmaster internet troll.
Yeah.
I could see that being true too. But yeah, I think it's probably a combination of those four.
Probably.
But that is while I was reading it, that was what I came up with. And yes, with the exception of the internet trolls one, which was Greg's. All those were mine. I did not read those anywhere.
Good job.
Thanks.
Good job.
Thanks, buddy.
Do more of that.
I will do my best to do more of that. So, that is pretty much all we got. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good. Good with the show.
All right. Excellent. Well, thank you all for tuning in. We do appreciate it. To all of those of you listening to us on SoundCloud, thank you. Please share this audio. If you are watching us on Facebook, you already know where to find us, but you can tell your friends to find us at facebook.com/Muddied Waters of Freedom. You can also see our faces often on Instagram at Muddied Waters of Freedom, or you can follow us on Twitter at Muddied_Waters. Let's do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't drink that.
I wasn't even trying to. I don't know.
For those of
It's
us,
automatic.
For those of you not watching, he picked up his kava to drink it, and I was like, "We got to do a bula. You can't just."
I know. That's why I got it ready.
You can't go all rogue.
Yeah.
All right, shells up. Thank you, Low Tide.
Yeah.
Thank you, Justin. Bullet.
Bullet. All right, that's it. You got anything else?
No, that's going to be pretty much it for me.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us today. And remember where we're going.
We don't need roads.